Hey guys, it's Carey and Zack here from the Coffee and KO's crew. And Zack, I got a question for you. You ever wake up on a Sunday morning and think, man, I'll cook the family some breakfast this morning?
Yeah, a time or two.
Have you ever noticed how you throw the sausage links up on the griddle to one side, you throw the eggs up on the griddle to the other side, you never cook them touching?
No, you don't ever want them to touch. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it got me to thinking, why do we do that with our underwear?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think it is too. But let me tell you, fellas, Sheath has solved that problem. They have come out with men's underwear with not one, but two pockets to keep your eggs and sausage separated.
Thank goodness. This has been a problem for way too long. I can't believe it took, I'm 26 years old, 26 years at least, to come up with something so intelligent. The material is great. Everything about Sheath underwear is amazing. And what's even better, we have a promo code. Promo code Coffee and KOs. If you use the promo code Coffee, the letter N, KOs, at checkout, you get 20% off your entire order. It's a hell of a deal. And let me tell you, the underwear are well worth it. So make sure you go to sheathunderwear.com. Promo code Coffee and KOs. Make sure you separate the sausage and the eggs. And make sure you sheath your dagger. Sheathunderwear.com. Coffee and KOs promo. 20% off. Go get yourself the most comfortable underwear in the world. And don't forget to sheath your dagger.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fight Bananas presents Coffee and KO's podcast. We're crazy about fights and jacked on caffeine.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coffee and KOs podcast. It's Zack.
What's going on, guys? Steve's here.
And no Carey today. Another snowstorm. Carey's out doing his duties as a plower, plowing the road. So just Steve and I today. But another great card has come and gone. But upward and onward to another great card. So, I mean, where the UFC put on a stretch of just really good cards from beginning to end. And, another great main event on the way. That's just going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, we had an absolute blast on the last card with the Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades craziness that ensued. Then we're going to go into another week with the heavyweights. You know, we got another huge fight going on in the main event here, but this whole card is actually sneaky again, really good. And then even into the prelims, I see like 3 fights that could be potential fight of the night. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like I look at the main event and I just have no idea what's going to happen. Like I looked at the betting line and I have to put money on Rozenstruik. The fact that he's plus 250 or whatever it is, like I can't not put money on that. Do I think I don't know. Like, I just don't know what's going to happen because, like, Gane obviously looked so good against JDS, but we know JDS is on, like, a downward slope. Rozenstruik is very good at kickboxing, but Gane is so good everywhere. So it's like this is going to be Gane's toughest test, but he's looked so good. It's so hard to not take him. But then Rozenstruik other than Francis Ngannou, he's looked good against everyone. So it's like really hard. Like I was going to steer clear of this one, but then I saw the betting line and the fact that Gane is such a heavy favorite. I was like, especially at the heavyweight division, you got to put money on Rozenstruik by KO. I feel like you have to do it.
I'm going to start calling it the Derek Lewis effect. That's just what this is going to be known as. And this is honestly potentially a better opportunity to do it because Curtis Blaydes was the number 2 ranked heavyweight in the world. You're talking about Ciryl Gane, who's like not really faced adversity. He's undefeated. I don't think he's tasted defeat yet at any professional level. He's ranked number 7 and Rozenstruik's number 3. And he's the plus 230 favorite right now. And then if you, again, throw in the fact that you go by finished, you're going to get another plus 300, plus 400 bet in for a pretty decent chance. So I don't know, man. This is going to be a crazy main event. Derek Lewis ruined it for me. I literally have no idea what to do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you saw that what happened and he defies all odds. And I like Rozenstruik. I've always been a fan of his, but now I'm starting to also become a big fan of Gane. I'm just a fan of the heavyweight division right now. Like you did say, someone asked a question like who's going to be fighting for the belt or whatever, but literally the heavyweight division is such a mess. It's more so because John Jones has been thrown into the mix. If he wasn't thrown into the mix, I think it'd be like Derek Lewis, then the winner of, or it'd be Francis Ngannou, Stipe. Then after that, it'd be Lewis gets the winner of that. And then it'd be, I feel like the winner of Gane versus Rozenstruik get the winner of that, like kind of like a domino effect. But now you add John Jones into it. It's like, man, I don't know. And Aaron actually just said, I'll throw it up on the screen here. Ciryl is very well-rounded, which he is, and sub is the play there, which I do like that as well. I think I could throw a little money on Rozenstruik by KO to be safe, and then money on Ciryl by submission, because I think that because he has the submission game and Rozenstruik really doesn't, it can almost be like that Aspinall effect. Maybe he gets hit a couple times. He's like, okay, I know I have an advantage in this, at this spot. Let me take it to the ground and try to put him to sleep. So I do kind of like that play there as well. Yeah,
and we'll obviously get into more detail, but Ciryl Gane is one of my guys, so I have to put that out there when I'm making my picks. But it does make for a very interesting matchup either way. And just again, all the way through this card, like I love the Munhoz Rivera got rebooked for this card. Angela Hill just stepped in on short notice. Now she's in the main event. Croom and Caceres are going to lead us off on the main card. Like that's incredible. Go. I love the Randy Brown, Alex Oliveira fight. William Knight, Alonzo Menafield, dude, 2 heavy hitters. That's going to be a sick fight too. I love this card. And Jacoby's on there. I think it's Dustin Jacoby. He's had some. He's looked okay. Munhoz. Did you say Munhoz Rivera? Because that was rebooked for this one. Yep. So, the card from top to bottom is just very, very good, and I'm super, super excited for it. And another good start time, perfect start time, like 5 and 8, perfect start time. Yeah, that is ideal for most people. So, the Barcelos fight is on here. Barcelos is not fighting, but I think that they're still trying to get Rojo an opponent. So I wouldn't say that fight's canceled yet. COVID hit Barcelos. I think originally Barcelos was supposed to fight someone else, wasn't it? And then Rojo stepped in, and I don't know. That's kind of a messy situation, but hopefully they find another person because that'll give us a 13 match night, which I think was what ended up happening last week too. Yeah. So before we get into this week's card, obviously last week was freaking insane, and let's get through our news segment and rate that matchup, all that, and then we'll get into the picks. Dude, rate that matchup is kind of lit right now. Not gonna lie, we got 5 or 6 like sick fights that got announced just in the last week. So we'll start off with a bang. But Leon Edwards finally gets a dance partner, and it's Belal Muhammad who's stepping in. Love it. And it's a short notice for Belal Muhammad, but he's been very active. I honestly think it's a really tough fight for Leon Edwards. I think anyone going against Belal is going to be tough, just the way that he fights. He's super aggressive. This is honestly, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It's not a 5 just yet, but it is going to be an amazing fight. Yeah, I would go 4 as well. I really, really like Belal Muhammad. I do think Leon is going to edge this one out, and we'll obviously talk about it when we get there. But Belal is great. The volume he throws, everything. But the one thing I did not like was the leg kicks last time. He ate a lot of those. And Leon,
to me, Bilal is a good wrestler and a good volume striker, but Leon is just more well-rounded. I just think he's the better overall fighter, but you can never count out Bilal. The only thing with Bilal is too, I feel like he doesn't really finish people. And I don't know. I think that if the fight goes a distance, I think it's going to be more so it's going to lean towards Leon more than it is Bilal. But I am really excited for it because Bilal. So it's funny. I used to kind of not like Bilal Muhammad that much. I don't know what it was, but there was just something about him. It was like the sunglasses after the fight and all this stuff. I wasn't like a huge fan. But like over the last couple of years, like I've really kind of hopped on the Bilal Muhammad train. Like I really, really like him. I think his show is great for one. He's very intelligent. And he's one of those fighters that's just game. He's just game to fight anyone, anytime. And, as anyone knows, if they listen to the show, those are the guys I root for, is the guys that will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. It does not matter. So, I'm excited for that one. And
not to mention, it's a massive opportunity. That's the number 3 ranked fighter, Leon Edwards. You beat him. Now you're into title contention potential with your next fight after that. So huge opportunity there. I think that it's risky for Edwards, but I almost think that like he has to fight. And I think that him like fighting Colby might not have been the best play. Like when you're 2 years off, I think ring rust for some guys is real. So I think, if Leon is as good as he says he is and everyone thinks he is based on his rating, I think that he's, this is kind of a good introduction back, kind of getting back into the swing of things for him. So, we'll see. And I even think you could say if he beats Bilal, this could be actually his most impressive win that he's had. I know like the RDA fight, I don't think that was a great RDA that we saw. The Gunnar Nelson fight, Gunnar Nelson's solid. He fought Cowboy. This would actually be his probably most impressive win. But yeah, we both agree. That's a 4 out of 5. Awesome fight. This one is going to be an interesting matchup. I love the matchup, the matchmaking here. It's Mike Perry. He gets a fight. He's going to take on Daniel Rodriguez. That's a tough fight for both guys. Those are just two great strikers. I know in Mike Perry's recent fights, he's actually been using his wrestling a little bit, but you never really know where he's at or where his head's at. So I like Daniel Rodriguez in this fight, and I do like this matchup. I'll give it a 3.5. I like it. Bombs are going to be thrown. I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3. I'll be plain. I won't go halves here. But no, I agree. Everything you said, I agree with. I think that it has the makings to be a banger. Just stand and, whoever finishes it. But Mike Perry has shown that he can wrestle a little bit. So I think he'll steer away from it a little bit because I think that his fight against Tim Means, he wrestled so much and wasn't prepared and he gassed himself out. Maybe he doesn't really take that route this time and doesn't, burn himself out, especially because most likely Mike Perry's not going to have a regular camp. It's probably going to be the same thing because I don't even think he's affiliated with a gym. So, you just don't know what you're going to get with Mike Perry. And Mike Perry might come in as the favorite. Whatever guy is the underdog in this fight, I would put money on just because they both have that flash knockout. Mike Perry's not really a guy that gets finished that often. He's more so a guy that he'll wear damage and stuff, but he doesn't really get finished that much. And Rodriguez, we saw him get stumbled his last fight, but then come back and end up getting the win. So, yeah, I like both these guys. Rodriguez has kind of made a splash for getting some crazy knockouts and being a warrior in there over the last couple of years. So, yeah, props to him. He gets a big name. That'll be a big jump for D-Rod. This fight, it's funny because I was just thinking about this guy. He's like one of those guys who, he got knocked out pretty bad. You haven't seen him in a long time. And I was wondering if he was going to come back. He was, I think he's still ranked actually right now at like maybe 13 to 15 range, but Gregor Gillespie is fighting again against Brad Riddell. That's a sneaky good matchup. Brad Riddell is boys with Izzy. He just had a win last year, but he hasn't fought in almost a full year now. And Gregor Gillespie, he hasn't fought since he got knocked out by Kevin Lee, which is, I think, the clip that we have on our promo, right? When we start the show, that's Gregor Gillespie getting head kicked. He got knocked out real nice. But people forget, man. Gillespie's... Yeah, go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I don't know, I think Riddell wrestles a little bit, though. I know it's weird because that camp really doesn't have many wrestlers, but I could be wrong, and if Aaron's watching, he can correct me. But I do think that Riddell wrestles a little bit. I don't know if he has to worry so much about getting knocked out this time. And if it's a wrestling matchup, I'm leaning towards Gillespie because he is a phenomenal wrestler. But I'm not 100% sure. I've seen Riddell fight, but I can't remember. Yeah, Gillespie has all the accolades as a wrestler, like NCAA national champ. I think he was D1 or D2, I forget. But I actually really like this matchup, and I'll give it kind of similar to the Mike Perry D-Rod. I'd give it like a 3.5. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Aaron says wrestle show for Gregor. Yeah, I mean, listen, I give it. I honestly for this one I give it like a 2.5.
Really? Not more than that? I like this fight.
I love Gillespie. I just, it's I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be a wrestle fest, and when that happens, like I appreciate it. I appreciate the wrestling game, but it gets tiresome after a while. Like, so for me, I go 2.5.
I agree. Yeah, it might not be the most fun to watch. Yeah, it's that was it City Kickboxing? Is that
so
Riddell's with?
Okay, so he corrected me, which I wasn't sure for some reason. I think I get Riddell mixed up with another fighter, honestly, but I have seen him fight before. I know that, and I thought it was a little off because he is with City Kickboxing, but I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, so that was a good fight. I like that one, and that's happening on March 20th, so coming up pretty soon. Let's do the next one. So this one just got booked recently. You texted me about this one. So Dan Ige gets Gavin Tucker. That's a good match. That's two guys just going heads forward. Yeah. They're gonna clash. I do not know who to pick in this one. I expect the lines to be very close. I think it'll be basically a pick 'em. But this is going to be a very fun fight to watch. I would give that like a solid 3.5 as well.
See, I am a huge Ryan Hall fan, right? But I find that Ryan Hall's been killing me because he's backing out of fights. This is the best replacement. Like this, I think makes the fight better because Ryan Hall. He's interesting because he's quirky. Like he could Eminari roll and get your leg and fight be over. This is going to be just hellfire. Like these guys are just going to throw bombs. I've become a massive fan of Gavin Tucker. He is freaking so good. I really like him. And I like Dan Ige. I think this fight is going to be insane. So one might say bananas. Shout out Dave. But yeah, no, I am all in on this fight. I'm going 4.5, honestly. 4.5. I know the name factors really aren't there for the casuals, but for like us true MMA fans, like this fight is going to be a fire fest. These guys are going to be swinging, and I'm super hyped about that one. When I saw that today and I texted you, I was like, this shit is going to be so good.
Yeah, that's like fight of the night written all over it. Just dark horse of maybe fight of the year. You never know. You could get a wild just back and forth between those two. Is it a main event? Are they going to be is it going to be a 5-round fight? Do you know?
I don't think it'll be a main event, no. But that to me is like a main. What is it? March 13th?
Yeah, that's got to be coming up. Yeah.
He's going Ige. I like Ige too. Like I literally could see. Sorry, I didn't show the comment. Aaron says Ige. I really like both guys. I can honestly see it like a flash knockout. Like you just don't know. I could see it literally going either way, and I will not be upset no matter who wins or loses. Like I really like both guys.
And in Gavin Tucker, so I'm obviously a big Billy Q fan, and I was like, obviously pumped to see him fight again. And Gavin Tucker just steamrolled him. Wasn't even a close fight. So I did gain a lot of respect for Gavin Tucker after that. Obviously, Dan Ige is a tough son of a bitch too. So great fight. I haven't seen that fight yet, so I'll have to take a look at it. But I'll add it to the list.
I see what Aaron's saying, but I just feel like guys get better over time, and I think we've seen Gavin Tucker kind of gradually get much, much better.
Absolutely. The next fight I had on here, I'm actually super pumped about this one. It's a women's division fight. This is Holly Holm taking on Juliana Pena, and we both picked Pena in her last fight as the underdog, which was a super tough fight for her. But I think she showed out. I think she's a legitimate contender. Holly Holm is a perfect person for her to fight to then put her name in the top 3 contention list. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I love this fight. It's not a 5, but I would give it a solid 4. Holly Holm has looked really good in her last few fights, but I've been riding the Juliana Pena train for a little while now, so I'm excited to see her get a big shot here.
Yeah, I'll go 4 on this one too. I love watching Holly Holm fight, especially when she's in really good form. If she can come out and fight her fight, I think I got to lean towards Holly Holm. I think she keeps the distance and can kind of pick Pena apart in the striking game. But Pena is dangerous on the ground. We saw it. So, I think that it's always fun when you have a clash of styles, when you have the striker, like the karate type striker, kickboxer versus the wrestler. And I'm excited for that. I'd give it a 4.
And then the last one I had here, not a huge fight, but it's a fun fight. So it's Iwan Kutelaba taking on Devin Clark on May 1st. Devin Clark just had a tough fight against Anthony Smith that got finished in the first minute or so. Iwan Kutelaba, he got finished by Ankalaev, back-to-back fights. So both these guys definitely need a win. I expect a solid fight out of this one. I'm not super excited about it. I'd probably give it like a solid 3.
I'm actually going to go 2 on this one.
Yeah, maybe like a 2.5.
This doesn't really I'm not in on Iwan Kutelaba. He got finished twice by Ankalaev. He kind of faked it the first time. We didn't really know what was going on there. But I don't know. Like, Clark is not bad. I like Clark. Maybe wrestles him to death. I have no idea. Like, to me, this fight is this is a prelim, in my opinion. Like a prelim, it's a good fight, but it's not going to get my blood flowing.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably even drop it to the 2s. I agree. But those are some awesome fights that we just had booked. So now these are all getting booked for March, April, May. So we're starting to see that next wave of cards come out. And we definitely have some solid ones here. But a few headlines, not a ton of headlines, but I got a few here. Did you see who Derek Lewis called out?
Well, he called out Alistair Overeem.
He did.
Which
makes no sense, but
it doesn't make sense, but it does, because he knows he's not going to get a title shot anytime soon, and it's so jammed up there. Like, he's beaten. Okay, maybe he can fight Jairzinho, but the only other thing it could be is the winner of Jairzinho versus Gane, right?
I think it could be either of those guys. Whoever wins or
whoever
loses,
wins.
It could be either guy. It could be even the loser, though.
I don't know. I have a Derek Lewis is the type of guy. He made it clear, like, I think he wants to be a champ, but he doesn't want to be a champ. He wants money. All he wants is money. He's 30. What is he? 36 years old. Like,
yeah,
he wants to make money. He's, he always has a chance to get a win bonus on top of a performance bonus based off his knockout power. And he wants a quick turnaround because he wants money, and he didn't really take any damage. He could, I don't know. Like he said, he doesn't know how long Alistair's out for because he got pieced up pretty good, but if I'm Alistair Overeem, I don't want to take that fight. I'll be honest with you.
But he will.
Yeah. I get what Derek Lewis is doing, and I understand it. I do. But yeah, I agree with Aaron. I really do not think Overeem is going to take that fight. I think that he is the type of guy. Volkov picked him apart, right? Because Volkov doesn't really have that one shot knockout power. Derek Lewis touches Overeem one time and it's lights off. Like, that's it.
Yeah, but also, like, so Overeem obviously just lost in a terrible fashion, so he's dropping down on the rankings. Derek Lewis just beat number 2. He's going to move up in the rankings. Now, if Overeem gets the chance to defeat Derek Lewis, which he can wrestle, he can take him to the ground, potentially get a finish on the ground, or drag it out 5 rounds. Does that put him back into like the conversation? Like, because he beat Derek Lewis? I don't know, but the Volkov rematch would be interesting too. I wouldn't mind the Volkov.
But
Volkov doesn't want that.
Oh, I think Volkov would take that in a second, because that's going to project him up to what's Derek Lewis going to be 2 now. So that's going to move into 2.
That's dangerous, man.
It's not, though, because he handled Derek Lewis that whole fight. He just fought a stupid last minute or couple seconds of the fight. If he would have kept his distance, he wins that fight unanimous decision. I don't think that's a bad. I think Volkov takes that fight all day, because that projects him all the way to top 2. He's in line for a title shot then, which I think that he struggles. He would struggle against, Rozenstruik or Gane. But I think that Derek Lewis is the perfect guy to fight to get back up into the conversation of top 2. Like, I think that's a perfect opponent.
I don't know. I don't like that fight for him. That's the self-destruct button hits him one time, and now all of a sudden he takes a huge step back. I'd rather see him fight someone like Gane, where the power's still there, but the Rozenstruik fight is very difficult too, because he has as I call it, the Derek Lewis effect. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the heavyweight division. They're just all very dangerous. I don't like it for Volkov.
I think that would be perfect for him. I think that it would propel him right back. But No, yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with Derek Lewis. Listen, I hope he makes a quick turnaround. I love Derek Lewis. We all love Derek Lewis, let's be honest. Like, we all were picking Blades, but except for Aaron. But, we all wanted to see Derek Lewis get a knockout. Let's be honest. Like, it's always entertaining. He is an entertainer, and I love Derek Lewis. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it will be a quick turnaround, though. I think it's better for him to stay active than to take a lot of time off.
Yeah, and like you said, like if he's not caring about the belt, then he just literally wants to fight because he loves fighting or because of the money. So he'll just get right back in there. He didn't really take any damage at all, so he can turn around and definitely fight again in 2021. That won't be a problem. That's the problem. Is they're all heavy hitters. When you look at everyone that I just named, Gane, Rozenstruik, Lewis, like there's no easy fight that you're gonna take.
And I agree with Aaron. I don't think Lewis would want to fight Volkov again. He got picked apart pretty good in that fight. It was the one punch,
and he can keep his distance. That's the thing.
Volkov tore up the body in that fight. I'm pretty sure that's the fight that he said he had a shit because he was holding his stomach the whole time. I don't know, man. I think that's I don't know. The heavyweight division, like you said, is a freaking goddamn mess.
I honestly would kind of just rather John Jones not come up.
Oh, me too. I'd rather him
stay. There's so much going on now that it's like now you're just holding up contenders and it's creating a shit show. And it'd be kind of cool if he just went back down.
All it's going to take, though, is John Jones to come in and fight one time. And if he has a dominant performance, everyone be like, God damn, this is the best thing ever.
I want to see Izzy versus John Jones way more than I want to see John Jones versus anyone at heavyweight. Fair to say?
I don't know. John Jones versus Francis, I think, would be kind of cool just to
see.
It would
be like funny to watch because you just have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I would like that. But
all right. Well, that was just a little bit of heavyweight talk there. Kamaru Usman came out. He said that he would entertain a move up, but only if Izzy is not there. So Izzy would have to vacate his belt, which I kind of think we expected because they're, like Team Nigeria, they have each other's backs. But I do think if that was to be a thing, if Izzy goes out there, beats Jan Blachowicz, maybe that gets vacated. Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa's coming up. Whoever wins that fight, maybe you have Usman move up and fight them. I think that would be a really cool fight. I think that should be his next move.
I'll be honest. I think that him moving up in weight is, I don't see anyone. Colby is the only guy I can see getting close to beating Usman. I would love to see that a second time because that was a great fight the first time. But if he beats Colby again, I would much rather. Maybe we'll see what Leon does. If Leon comes out and looks like an animal, then okay, I wouldn't mind seeing Leon Usman. But I just think Usman, it would be one. There's better wrestlers in the division up, and I just think that there's just better. I don't know. I there's more fights there for him. Like if he beats Colby and he beats Leon, to me, there's no one else. Maybe Wonder Boy, but I still don't see it. That could
Chimaev potentially.
He's not at that point yet, though. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that I agree with you. I'd rather him move up and test the waters there. But I'd like to see Colby and him run it back one more time.
I would too. I do think that would be, if I had the ideal fight for Usman. I mean, I'd love to see him fight Izzy, but Colby Covington, without a doubt, the bad blood there is just amazing. And they have to run that one back at some point. So that would be cool. And I don't really, we saw Gilbert Burns. We don't know what Leon is going to do, but do I expect him to go out and get like a round one knockout over Bilal Muhammad? No, I don't. I expect him to win by decision, if anything. And that's not going to do it for me to be like, oh yeah, let's get him in there against Usman. And then Masvidal, Wonder Boy, not super excited. So yeah, it's just another one of those things. He's just beaten so many people. He's cleaned out the division. It's like, do you make that move up or do you kind of stick around? But I wouldn't mind seeing him go up.
I really wish Colby and Leon would have fought. I wish Colby would have accepted it because to me, then you have a clear-cut winner gets Usman next. Yeah. Because, I mean, would have been a tough fight for Leon, but, if he wants to fight for the belt next, to me, like you said, a fight and a win over Bilal Muhammad, does that insert you to title contention? That's nothing against Bilal Muhammad, but he's not there yet. He's not in the top 5, so I don't know. Like, unless he goes out and like kicks Bilal's head off in like 1 minute or something like that and does, or just purely dominates him, he has to put on a hell of a performance for me to say a win over Bilal Muhammad gets him a title shot.
Right. And it seems like at this point, Colby literally is just holding out for the title shot. Like he's not making any moves unless it's against Usman. So, that could make things really weird if he's just doing this weird holdout. But I do agree with the Wonder Boy matchup because I don't think Usman's really faced a level of that style, like the karate style. Yes, Masvidal is a good boxer, but Wonder Boy does a tremendous job of keeping people away from him. And, Usman would try to go in. He would maybe get sidekicked a whole bunch of times, get pieced up. Wonder Boy moves very well in and out. So that would be very interesting to see that fight. But again, if Wonder Boy gets taken down, like we don't really know where that's going to go.
Not only that, but okay, I know Usman's striking is not anything near Wonder Boy, but with the type of power that Usman possesses, I feel like if he clipped Wonder Boy one time, like Wonder Boy's kind of a frail 170er. Like he's very thin. Usman's like this huge dude. I feel like he wouldn't be able to take a lot of shots from Usman. I don't know. Like I could be totally wrong, but it's just like something in my brain would just say I feel like Usman would absolutely destroy Wonder Boy. And I hope not, because I love Wonder Boy. I would love to see him be champion. But I don't know. It's just something like in my gut that says that would be an awful matchup. Yeah,
it's just the style, really, for me, is just do you guys know what you're talking about?
Absolutely
Total train wreck
not.
Gaming. Is that Carey?
Yeah.
All right,
Carey, stop texting or messaging while you're plowing the roads. It's not safe.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, no, I don't know what I'm talking about because no one does because it's MMA and it's the trickiest sport in the world. All right, well, that's all I really had for headlines. Nothing really came out that grabbed my attention that much. I don't know if you had anything.
No, that's it. I feel like, I'm still... I got to say, man, just hats off to the freaking UFC, man. What they've been able to do like during this time. I think we say it every single show, but Saturdays are just so good. Like when you wake up Saturday, you literally you have something to look forward to all week. It's become UFC Saturday has become the new NFL Sunday. It really has. Like,
yeah,
it's so good. You wake up and you're like, man, there's fights today. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. And I don't know. It's just become like a really big, at least for me. I mean, not all people, but at least for me and the show, like it's literally like Sunday, but it's all year round, which is great.
And it's so crazy when you look at like the NBA and the NHL, like they're having like suspended games like up the butthole right now. Like it's insane that they're going through all these difficulties, but the UFC has figured it out so early, like what works, and they've just been able to produce a product weekly for like over a year.
Yeah, 100%. And Aaron said he did take Woodley's hardest shots, but I don't know. I still think Usman's better.
Usman putting people out with a jab.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very true.
All right, you want to go into picks?
Let's get into picks. I actually don't have a pen, so I can't write them down. So you'll have to send me a picture because I like to write them down so I have them for the week so I can make sure Steve's scoring is not wrong.
Let me just check real quick if I have a pen.
Oh, I found a pen.
All right, good. Because I was gonna say I'm in a hotel room right now in New Hampshire, and I don't think I have a notebook, and I don't think I have a pen.
Steve is living the hotel life.
Yes, sir.
All right,
it's fun.
Steve, entertain the listeners while I write quick.
All right. Well, this is now a 6-fight main card.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to ask. You can answer this as I write this down. What did you think of the Czech Congo Pat Barry video? So first time you saw it.
Yes. So I watched it, and it actually, I know you described it being like pretty crazy. It blew away my expectations as to what actually happened. Like Czech Congo got like, I don't even know how the ref didn't stop it. I think that's just kind of how the UFC was back in the day. They just kind of let things fly, but that would not fly in today's UFC. That would have been called in a second. And I just don't understand how he was able to get up and then land that clean shot to the chin that dropped Pat Barry. I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely insane. But it did change my perspective a little bit. I do agree. Sometimes you're able to regain your composure very quickly, but that doesn't mean that it should be let on. You know what I mean? Like for the safety of the fighters.
No, yeah, I get it. But like that, I just... like ever since that fight happened, that's just kind of been my take on it. I'm like, I feel like I have to, like Landwehr was not, he was done. Okay. It wasn't a bad call. All right. I want to take that back from last week. It was not a bad call, but like for me, like there's a difference between like, if he was like covering up and wearing shots or knocked out cold like Curtis Blades. Like there's a difference between that and the fact that he popped up. Like who's to say he couldn't pop up, land a quick shot and knock him out? Like I'm not saying it's a bad stoppage. It was a good stoppage. It should have been stopped. But like I'm just saying, like with the Congo thing and Pat Barry, it's like, I mean, but again, I feel like that's the only time that's probably ever happened. So
it's a good example because it works. Like you can literally look at that and be like, you're right. Like he can pop back up and fight, but then you're asking the ref to make this like insane decision that's already kind of controversial. You know, like how is he supposed to know if Nate Landwehr is going to be good to go?
What if Nate Landwehr got up? So it's like catch-22 because if the ref lets it keep going and he gets hurt worse, you're the bad guy. But if he lets it keep going and Nate Landwehr gets up and knocks him out, you're a god.
Then it changes the whole game.
Yeah.
Like now it's
you're either being compared to Herb Dean or you're being compared to Jason Herzog. It's like it's catch-22. So no, I feel like the refs now are definitely more cautious aside from Herb, but it's one of those things where, there's always just that chance that, Landwehr was not out cold or he wasn't covering up to like give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he popped up and was still ready to fight. Seemed like he knew where he was. So, and sometimes you get hit and it just kind of throws off your equilibrium. Like you're not really out, but like you're kind of doing like the weird dances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The chicken dance.
But no, it was a good stoppage. I'll take that back from last week, but still, that's the last time we're ever mentioning Nate Landwehr. He can go piss off.
Yeah, he's on the shit list. Sorry, Nate.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, first fight on the card. We already know where we're going. It's Croom, Caceres. Anybody listening, bet money on Kevin Croom plus 180. I would honestly cash that in now. Put the bet in now because I think by the end of the week, it actually might get closer. Like if Vegas takes into consideration what Minner did, what Glory has done, and look at what Kevin Croom did against Roosevelt Roberts, who is a better fighter than Caceres. And Caceres was like this guy that was like the hyped up prospect and then just never panned out. Kevin Croom is going to win this fight. And I'm going to put money on Croom by getting a finish. I really do feel like Kevin Croom is going to get a finish in this fight. I couldn't tell you submission or KO. That's really, really tough for me because he's kind of a guy. He's like, he doesn't really have knockout. And he told us this on his show. He doesn't really have like the one punch out cold power. He has more so, like flash knockdown power and then we'll snatch up a neck. So I'm going to actually go Croom by submission.
What's up, Cage Talk with Alex? Thanks for tuning in for the first time. This is and for Aaron, if he's still listening to this is Derek Minner 2.0. Okay, so you get better odds on this one. And I actually put the money in yesterday. I want to say I got plus 180, plus 185, and now I'm already looking at the ESPN odds, and it's now at plus 210. So you can go in and make that bet. You don't have to bet on the finish. It's
at plus 210?
On ESPN, it's listed as plus 210. I got it booked at 185, I think.
I'm going to look at DraftKings right now because if it is, I'm putting money on right now. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and so this is my take on the fight. Alex Caceres, he's 12-10-1 in the UFC. He's a UFC veteran, but he's just been a very middle-of-the-road fighter, right at that 500 record. Meanwhile, you have Kevin Croom, who is just going to be super motivated. He just got his chance into the UFC. Made a huge impact in his first fight against Roosevelt Roberts, getting that first round submission, gets the performance bonus, changes his life. Now he's become like a bigger figure. He's gained a ton of followers. I think, when you just look at the perspectives of a 12-10-1 fighter, he's not going to make a run at the title anymore. Kevin Croom's just getting into the UFC. He's going to be super motivated. He's 21-12 pro record. He actually has more fights on record than Alex Caceres does. They have the same reach. They have about the same height. They're going to be very similar fighters. I just love Kevin Croom here. I don't know how to pick it. I'm going to go decision because Caceres is a solid fighter. Been around the block a bunch of times. I don't see Croom getting the finish on him. So I'll go Croom by decision.
Croom is going to be pissed at you, dude. Croom says it's not going to get past round 2.
I'm not a fan of fighters making claims like that, as we've seen in the past, a.k.a. Charles Rosa.
There is an exception there. It's okay when our guy does it.
All right. I mean, that's fair, but plus 210 is just good enough for me to just bet that outright. That's
I just
great.
looked on DraftKings. It's only plus 185 there, but
Oh, so
hopefully
it's the same.
I hope it creeps up a little bit though, because that would be fantastic. But Kevin Croom all day, guys. Honestly, that's a lock for me. Like, he is 100% going to win. Like, I have no doubts in my mind. Kevin Croom is probably going to be in a lot of my parlays too. Like, he is a lock for me.
Cafe parlay too. I'd say last weekend when we put in Minner and it jumped up to like plus 2,000 odds, like it's going to be even bigger with Kevin Croom, and I actually feel better about the fight. Right.
And we would have won if it wasn't for that bastard Nate Landwehr.
No, we don't talk about him. We just said we don't talk about Nate Landwehr.
Sorry, but that guy pissed me off. Screw him.
But Carey's not here, right? He's not making picks.
No, guys, I'm actually going to try to do a video with Carey sometime this week of him just making his pick. So we'll go on IG live and he'll go through his quirky breakdown. So we'll try to do that again since he couldn't be on the show today. But Steve, take us to the next one.
Yep. So this is Angela Hill taking on Ashley Yoder. Angela Hill stepping in on short notice. She's the number 12 ranked strawweight. Ashley Yoder, I'm not really a huge fan of hers. She's 33 years old, 8-6 pro record, but she's 3-5 in the UFC. Just has really not had success in the UFC with high level competition. She has 4 of 8 wins by submission. She's never finished anyone by TKO or knockout. Every fight in the UFC that she's been, how does that make sense? No, I had that wrong, but just forget about that. But Angela Hill is obviously elite level competition. She's looked very good in her last few fights. Like, she went on that 3-fight win streak where she kind of turned a corner. Then she dropped the next 2 against, Claudia Gadelha and Michelle Waterson, but I think they were both by split decision. They were both super close, super controversial. I actually think she beat Michelle Waterson. That was just a really tough. It was one of those, like, Angela Hill dealt more damage, but Waterson had more volume, I think. So it was really hard to score that one. But I love Angela Hill in this one. She's the massive favorite. She's minus 320. Yoder's plus 270. I very much like Hill in this one by decision.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you just said. I think Angela Hill is she's just a good striker. She's just very good at kind of throwing punches together and really, putting in just throwing good volume. I think that she's going to pick apart Yoder, but I don't think she'll finish her. I do think it'll be a decision as well.
Good fight, though. It'll be a good fight.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. The next one, we got Jimmie Rivera, Pedro Munhoz. So this is a rebooking. It was booked 3 weeks ago, something like that. And I originally took Rivera. This is tough, man, because I do think these guys are pretty equal. And actually, Munhoz is he's what, plus 180? He's an underdog. I know this.
Plus 125. It's pretty close.
125. So this one's really tough for me because I think that Munhoz throws more volume. We kind of saw it against Frankie. That fight was it could have went either way, honestly, in the decision. Rivera, I think, has a little bit more power, and Rivera is a good wrestler. Like, he's fought, I feel like, so many good people, and he's put up good fights every single time he's in the octagon. I'm a bigger fan of Jimmie Rivera. I am. My gut's kind of telling me Munhoz, though. I don't know why. Like, I want to take Rivera, but I kind of want to take Munhoz because my gut is kind of telling me Munhoz. I don't know if either guy gets finished. Munhoz has got a decent chin. Rivera's, again, he's been around the block. I got to go with my gut here. I don't want to slip up too much because we're close. It's starting to get closer now in the picks here. But I was looking at a parlay earlier of Croom, Munhoz, like all underdogs just for fun. Like, put $5 on all underdogs, and I think I was looking at Munhoz. It was Munhoz, Croom, and there was one other one. It was like plus 1,500. And I don't know. Like, something about me is telling me to take Munhoz, so I'm going to go Munhoz by decision.
Yeah, I know the odds are there's a little bit of a gap there, but I do really think it's like a coin flip on this one. And it's a 3-round fight. So when Munhoz fought Frankie, that was a 5-round fight. Now we're talking about 3 rounds. So that, changes everything a little bit. And it's like, yeah, Munhoz looked really good in his fight against Frankie. He actually outlanded him 166 to 135 strikes. Like, that was a close split decision too. That could have went either way. But Rivera, like you said, like the wrestling is going to be a problem. Munhoz has a good ground game. He just doesn't really utilize it that much. He's more of a striker. But Rivera, he's definitely a solid wrestler, and I tend to lean towards the wrestlers in this. And he also will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. So I do like Rivera. I had him initially. I don't think I've changed my pick. I'm going to go with Rivera by decision, 3 rounds.
I might parlay Croom and maybe that fight go into decision instead of
that could be the
person
move.
because I just don't. It is really just a coin flip. Like I do like the plus money on Munhoz. I do like that, but I think it's a risky bet if I'm gonna I don't know, man. I think it's tough. I think it should be a pick'em fight. I think it should be minus, whatever that is, pick'em. Like I just it's so close. Like I think these guys are really equally matched. I think Rivera's got more power, but Munhoz is going to throw more volume. So I don't know. It's going to be a interesting match. I think potential fight of the night.
I think so too. And they fought back in 2015. So this is the rematch, and it was a split decision, and Rivera won it. So yeah, it was 5 years ago, but they're both very similar styles than they were back then too. So I expect this to go a very similar way. I think it's going to be a very close fight. They're both very competitive. I'm going to edge towards Rivera.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
I don't like betting this one. I wouldn't really bet this one. It's too close.
Yeah, it's close. I think that no, I agree. I'm not gonna go on it anymore. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the next one is Montana De La Rosa taking on. I don't have her first name, but her last name is
Mayra.
Bueno Silva, which I'm sure Carey will have a very good one here. I mean, good Silva. I'm sure it means something in Brazilian that he'll come up with, but. I've seen Montana De La Rosa fight just a few times. She's only 26 years old. She is a solid fighter. She started off 3-0 in the UFC, all 3 submission, but in her last 3, she's only 1-2 in her last 3. So she's gone up a little bit in level of competition. Hasn't really proved that much. She lost to Andrea Lee. She lost to Vivian Araujo, both tough fighters. But she is, she's more of like she has 8 of 11 wins by submission, but Silva is the same way. She has 5 of 7 wins by submission. So this one's definitely going to the ground, you would think, or it could be one of those times where they both have the submission game. So they just stand up and trade. But Silva did have her UFC debut against Jillian Robertson, and I think she submitted her. So that's interesting to me. I don't really know who to take in this one. This is basically a pick 'em. You can get De La Rosa plus 100. You can get Silva minus 125. This is a tough one. I need to make some moves though. Like I don't know who you're going to take in this one. I feel like you're going to go with De La Rosa, so I'll go Silva, and I'll even take the submission on it.
Damn you, Steve. No, I was actually going. It is a toss up. I look at both fighters, both opponents that they fought. I think that the Jillian Robertson win for Bueno Silva is probably better than any win that De La Rosa has had. And she subbed her, and Jillian Robertson's pretty good on the mat. So I think that I have to go Bueno Silva, and it's by sub as well. I think that De La,
come on.
I know. I'm sorry. I already had it picked. I do feel like I feel like De La Rosa could possibly try to take her to the ground, and I could see her throwing up a sub on the offer back. I really do. And 7-1, pretty good ground game. So I gotta go Bueno Silva, and I have to go by sub as well. I'm sorry.
I think this is an interesting little tidbit here, but Montana De La Rosa in her last 4 fights, she has 9 takedowns. In all 3 of Silva's UFC fights, and even in her Dana White Contender Series fight, she has no takedowns, but she still gets the submission. So she's definitely good off her back. So if I expect De La Rosa to go in, land the takedowns, I expect that to actually maybe play into Silva's favor based on what I've seen.
I think that if De La Rosa is going to win the fight, she honestly has to keep it on the feet. I think that Bueno Silva is too dangerous. Like you said, she's got 7 wins, 5 of them by sub. Like I think she has to keep it. She has to make it a striking fight. And to me, like whenever I feel like women are not just women, when fighters are pressed to like go against what they're good at, they press too much. I feel like at some point she's going to try to wrestle and it's going to cost her.
Yeah, no, I like the Silva pick here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Steve.
It's okay. I'm going to get you on this one, I think.
So the next one, Nikita Krylov versus Magomed Ankalaev. I'll be honest with you guys. I really like Ankalaev. I think he's a crafty striker. He's very well rounded. He's the Kute Laba 2 times. I think that he's a massive favorite in this fight. I think he's minus 360.
Yeah.
I think that I don't really know what else to say. I really like Ankalaev. I've liked him for a while. I do think that he is going to be the better fighter tonight. And I'm going to go actually by KO. I think that he's just a very crafty striker. He's just a huge dude too. I feel like he's massive. Like I could honestly see like just piecing up strikes together really well and hitting them with like a head kick or something to put the lights out. I'm going to go Ankalaev. I'm going to go by KO. So
I'm glad that I had a feeling you were going to take him. And this is actually going to be one of my underdog picks here, but I like Nikita Krylov plus 280. And I like, so this is interesting to me. Ankalaev, obviously very good striker. We've seen that. That's what he does. He's just very accurate, but he's also very deadly with his striking. He can knock you out quick. He did it to Ion Kutelaba back-to-back fights. We saw that. He can do it. He has the power. His one loss was to Paul Craig by submission, which I think was interesting because Nikita Krylov usually takes this to the ground. He has finished, of the 27 pro wins that he has, he's finished 25 of them, 10 by TKO, 15 by submission. So I see a small crack there where Paul Craig submitted Ankalaev. Maybe Nikita Krylov can pull it off. He's ranked number 8 right now for a reason. He's faced a lot of guys. His last 4 that he's faced, Jan Blachowicz, OSP, Glover Teixeira, and he fought Johnny Walker, which is, I think, his most recent fight was against Johnny Walker.
And he couldn't even finish him, which is bad. So,
well, unanimous decision. I get that. Johnny Walker's chinny as hell.
I'll say
fair.
The split decision to Glover is impressive, especially with the run that Glover's been on. So,
but that there is definitely something to fighting Jan Blachowicz, OSP, Glover Teixeira that just elevates you. Ankalaev is still on his way up where he hasn't really, like Ion Kutelaba back-to-back, that doesn't do anything for me.
And Blachowicz was his UFC debut fight. He's only got 4 fights in the UFC.
He fought back in 2013. He was 6-3 for a 3-year span. Then I don't know why he left, but he didn't come back for 2 more years.
Okay.
So he actually has more than you think.
So you're going Krylov, but submission?
Submission, yep.
All right, I don't hate it. I might have to sprinkle some money on there because I'm sure that the odds on that are pretty high. So, you don't know.
But like you said, Ankalaev is dangerous as hell. Like, I don't feel great about the pick just given that, but
14-1, man. Shot. Nasty striker. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. All right, take us to the main event where we just don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Damn, dude. This one has me shaking a little bit. You got the number 3 ranked Jairzinho Rozenstruik, the number 7 ranked Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane has made a name for himself in just the last, year or two. He's just went from a nobody to now number 7 ranked. He's only 7-0 in his MMA career professionally. And then even before that, he had a 7-0 Muay Thai record. So from an experience standpoint, he's definitely way more inexperienced, especially given, Rozenstruik's 11-1 MMA career, but look at his kickboxing record. He's 76-8-1 with 64 knockouts. Like, that's a shit ton of experience. I have a ton of respect for Rozenstruik and his striking and the power. This is what we're calling the Derek Lewis effect. Like, Rozenstruik just stalks you, walks you down into the corner, and then when he lands, he hits you with bombs. He has just as much power, probably just underneath the Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou level, but he can definitely put you out. I do think Ciryl Gane has the athleticism. He'll have the speed. He comes in, I know he's a heavyweight, but I think he usually comes in around like the 230, 240 range, even though he's absolutely shredded. But I just think he does have some advantages being able to stay away from Rozenstruik. He'll have a 3-inch reach advantage. We've talked about his ground game. He has a couple submissions on record in the UFC. So 4-0 in the UFC, 2 subs, 1 TKO, 1 unanimous decision. So he can definitely get it done any way you look at it. As Lewis would put it, he has more tools, more ways to finish the fight. But that does not mean he's going to win this fight, as we just saw, because Rozenstruik is dangerous as hell. So I'm going with Ciryl Gane just because he's one of my guys. I've been with him since day one. And I still think that he can get it done. I think he's the real deal. I think he will be getting a title shot. I think he is a future champ in this division. So give me Ciryl Gane. And I like him to try to just get Rozenstruik out of there. So I'm thinking submission.
So you took my pick, but I'm gonna go opposite of you just for fun, just because, hopefully, look, my gut's telling me Gane is gonna I do think sub, and I'm gonna be betting Gane by sub I'm gonna go Gane by sub. I'm gonna put money on that. I'm gonna put money on Rozenstruik by KO, because we saw what happened last week with Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades. Like you said, the better overall fighter doesn't always win. I think that it's more of a toss-up than what the odds say. The odds are because Gane is such a more well-rounded fighter. I mean, he's got 60% takedown accuracy. He only really averages one a fight, but that's probably because, honestly, he'd take it down and just probably finish you. He probably hasn't had the opportunity to take guys down multiple times because he is just a strong dude.
Yep.
But I know they're both experienced with kickboxing. But I'm actually gonna be more so because you already picked Gane, but I'll go Rozenstruik. I'm gonna go by KO, and I think this is my reasoning. Rozenstruik's been in there with the best. He's been in there with the best already in that division. He's been in there with Francis. I know he lost, but he was in there with them. He's been in there with the best in that division. Other than Francis, he's done well against them all. Francis and Ngannou, that being your lone loss, is not a bad loss. I mean, that's the guy is an animal. He knocks out everyone. So I know that they're both experienced, but Rozenstruik's more experienced in the octagon at this point. Everyone's got to lose. I feel like unless you're Khabib, everyone's got to lose at some point. I do agree with you. I think Gane has the making to be a champion, and I think that he's going to fight for the belt soon. But I think that Rozenstruik in this one, he might surprise some people. Maybe Gane goes for a takedown. Maybe he has a striking disadvantage and the same thing happens. I don't know. I honestly think that it's a lot closer fight than what the betting line is saying. I really do, because I don't feel like a guy should be that big of an underdog, especially at heavyweight, when you have one punch knockout power. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, in the heavyweight division, it just doesn't make sense. So just based on value here, and the fact that you took Gane, I'll go Rozenstruik, and I will go by KO. I'm gonna hop on the Biggie Boy train, and maybe I can separate myself from you and Carey a little bit more with that pick, depending on who Carey picks.
Yeah, it's I'm not really impressed by either guy's resume. Like I know Rozenstruik, so he beat Arlovsky, he knocked him out. That's not a great win at that point in Arlovsky's career. He beat JDS in his last fight. We've seen JDS basically get knocked out by everyone he's faced in like his last 4. He beat Overeem, but he was actually losing to Overeem. So like potentially a little bit overhyped. But then like Ciryl Gane, JDS is his best win. Before that, it was Tanner Boser, who's like an okay prospect. Dontel Mays before that, who's not really much of anything in the heavyweight division right now. So I don't really know where they actually truly stand when you want to compare them to like Francis Ngannou. Like, look what happened to Rozenstruik against Ngannou. Steamrolled. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But I do think whoever wins this definitely is entering into that conversation, that messy situation we talked about.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think that it has the makings to. It's definitely a fight that is going to put one of them on the map. One of them is going to probably get a title shot. Honestly, the winner of that probably title shot bound, which. Well, actually, probably not, because John Jones is going to fight for the belt, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I know. And then Volkov just won, too, we talked about, so he's coming up, too. And Derek Lewis just won, so what the hell? I don't know.
Yeah. Heavyweight division, it's a mess. No one
stacked, though.
Yeah, this is probably the best that the heavyweight division's ever been. So, but guys, Steve, anything else?
Nope. I'm good.
All right, everyone. Listen, thanks for joining. Anyone that watched today live, we really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there. If you're listening there, check out the full video on YouTube. Subscribe. We have a bunch of great stuff that goes on there regularly. We're always interviews and clips from the recap shows, the awards, all that stuff. We always posting on Instagram and YouTube, just constantly grinding out content. It's great content. Make sure you guys check it out. The show is also brought to you by Sheath Underwear. Go to sheathunderwear.com. Use promo code COFFEE, NKOs. Get 20% off your entire order. I promise you they are the most comfortable underwear in the world. So don't forget to sheath your dagger and go get some Sheath Underwear. It's also brought to you by Fight Bananas. Every Saturday night, after every event, Steve and I and Aaron and Carey and maybe Guess will be joining you, or you'll be joining us, talking about what just happened on that card. It's always a good time. We always have laughs. And Wednesdays also interview days. Every Wednesday, we're dropping interviews for you guys on all podcasting platforms and on YouTube. Promise you guys that you will not be disappointed with the interviews. We have a lot of fun, great conversations, not just about UFC. And we really appreciate all the love and support, guys. And also, coffee giveaways on Saturday. Coffee giveaways. So on Saturday, we'll be posting on Saturday. All you got to do, outpick us. Tell us you're interested in a free coffee. You join us on an Instagram live on Saturday. Make your picks. We already had a winner. Jackie, Boston Comments, Bunny, whatever you want to call her. She won last time. She got her free coffee. She outpicked us. She got the most points last week. So make sure you guys, all you got to do, send us a message. Tell us that you're interested. When we go live on Instagram, join us. Actually, no, we won't be on Instagram. We're actually going to do it on YouTube, I think. YouTube and a bunch of maybe Twitter, whatever it is. We'll send out the links. Just tell us you're interested on Instagram, and then we'll send you the link to join us. And you'll be able to make your picks. If you win a free coffee. Other than that, guys, that's going to do it. We look forward to talking to you guys on Saturday. Make sure you check out our interview this Wednesday dropping, Jeff Molina, and we will see you guys next time.